So I've been finishing up UNESCO, and I'm preparing to make a video on it. But Julian Huxley and the rest of the elite have such a contradictory view of the world. They're trying to create this global government for the long-term sustainment of civilization, and they have all these plans, right? And they understand that competition is necessary for human fulfillment. But competition necessarily implies winners and losers. Superior and inferior, if you want to use those scary words. But at the same time, our elite don't want to be illiberal. They don't want to be anti-egalitarian. They want to believe that everything everyone does is of equal value, and it's all just a matter of your point of view. They want to promote high-quality art, but not at the expense of bad art. They want to promote art as a whole, quantity over quality. Julian Huxley talks about how sad he is that indigenous art is being done away with by industrial society. But it's like a Pachamama idol has no aesthetic beauty. And it's because indigenous societies don't have the tools to produce something of aesthetic beauty. It's there to symbolize some spiritual feeling, the idea of fertility or some god or something. And that can be beautiful in the mind, but indigenous people are not sitting around their Pachamama idol and admiring its aesthetic quality. You could take indigenous people out of their condition and show to them a Greek marble statue, and they would consider it aesthetically beautiful. You could take them out of their conditions and educate them and give them modern tools, and instead of creating a Pachamama idol, a traditional Pachamama idol in their traditional methods, they would use modern methods and modern tools, and they would produce something that is not only spiritually significant to them, but also aesthetically beautiful. Bringing the world together and bringing them and bringing us upwards and progressing society and educating these people will necessarily mean that indigenous art is done away with in its traditional form. And there are similar contradictions throughout the book, where he expresses the need for world government to promote progressivism and the improvement of the human race, but then goes on to lament the fact that inferior ways of being, inferior ways of viewing the world, inferior ways of creating, inferior ways of everything are being done away with. But it's like, what do you want? Do you want to improve the human race, or do you want to just quantity over quality in everything? And it seems that he holds these views simultaneously. It's very contradictory, it's schizophrenic, it's nonsense. And this stems from a denial of what life really is. UNESCO and the elites, Julian Huxley, the rest of the elites, seem to view life as this inherently broken or sick thing that needs to be remedied. You know, war and competition are bad because it makes people suffer. And so life as war and competition needs to be remedied. It's sick. But not only is it sick, it needs to be preserved for as long as possible by creating this world government that will impose world peace on everybody and maintain the current power structure into eternity. And they recognize that competition is still required for most people's fulfillment, so they give us other ways to compete. He said that he believes that nations should abandon war in support of a competition of artistic achievement and pride. And sure, that's all well and good, but like I said before, competition necessarily implies winners and losers, superior and inferior, and he doesn't want to do that either. He wants to maintain artistic egalitarianism. He wants to maintain this egalitarian worldview of everybody has something of equal value to offer the world, and he doesn't want to pick winners and losers. He doesn't want people to be able to pick winners and losers, because that necessarily means that life is a competition, and if life is a competition, then people inevitably lose, and the ultimate way of losing is death, and if everything dies, then so too will their world government and civilization and nations and peoples and cultures, and they can't have that because they want to maintain control. So it really stems from this, not necessarily a denial of the nature of life as competition and as war, but a rejection of it, a conception of the world as something that's inherently evil and broken. And the only way for them to remedy it is to keep you trapped in their technocratic egalitarian system, quote, egalitarian, unquote, system, and provide you with all these fake competitions, video games, sports, everything else, while they maintain control and attempt to defy death for all eternity. Attempt to avoid any real competition and any real war for all eternity, to maintain control forever, to stay alive forever, which is inherently contradictory and crazy, because why would you want to stay alive forever if life is this inherently sick and evil thing? But it's the only solution they have. But what this produces is this technocratic world where they offer you all these fake competitions, and anybody with a shred of intelligence or spiritual feeling recognizes that it's all fake. There are no real stakes. And so the value, the significance of life is drained out of the world in this system that they're building. The alternative is to accept life for what it is and not despair at it. Life is a competition, life is a war, and that means that someday we will all lose. On a long enough timeline with enough challenges, we all lose. We all lose one of the competitions. We all eventually die. And so too do nations die, and power structures die. People lose power. The world government will probably die. Peoples will die. Peoples die. Everything dies. But that's what gives life its value and its meaning, is that it's temporary. I don't remember who said it. I think it was some Greek philosopher that said that the gods envy us because our state is temporary, because we're going to die someday, and it makes every moment more beautiful. And that's true. Life is a competition and a war, and that's a beautiful thing. Just because it necessarily means that we will suffer does not make it less valuable and less exciting. That's part of the excitement. You really just got to learn to enjoy what you have and stop trying to control things that you can't control, or stop death or put off death like the world elite are trying to do. And they're creating this dystopia in the process. Luckily, I don't think that they'll succeed, but that's just what I've been thinking about. And it should give you an idea of what I'll be talking about when I discuss Julian Huxley and UNESCO. But that's all I have for now. Love you. Goodbye.